have the opportunity to vote yes.
Gentlemen. So what happened if we don't get that 300,000?
There's a large contingency number already built in the budget, as has been in previous years in the budget. It's been used for various items in the past. And if by chance we get to the point where that money, where we see that money is not going to be collectible, i.e. if the local law doesn't pass, then obviously we need to revisit whether or not those dollars be appropriated as currently put in the budget. In other words, it's not like we're going to go spend the money tomorrow.
There was already a motion and a second. We need to vote. If you're
Is there
satisfied,
any other question on the board? Let's move to vote.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
No.
Mayor Ryan?
No.
Is that for the entire resolution or just for the 300,000?
for the entire.
Entire. Oh, exactly. I think that is a good idea.
The motion passed. Clerk will offer the following resolution for adoption, that adoption of the tentative budget for the fiscal year 2019, 2020, on which a public hearing is held on Monday, April 15, 2019, including Schedule A-1, F, F-1, L, L-1, MS, MS-1, V, V-1, be approved at a tax rate of $85.16 per $100 of assessed value in sanitation user fees for fiscal year 2019, 2020, as set forth in the schedule annex to this resolution. Be approved. With the amendment passed by the Board of Trustees on April 16, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Got it.
Hello.
Trustee Hobbs?
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
And now we're going to close the public hearing.
That was
Oh, sorry. Clerk offers the following resolution for adoption, that authorization hereby be granted to approve the new water rates for the fiscal year 2019, 2020.
So moved. Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Now the public hearing is over.
The special meeting comes to an end. Entertain a motion to close.
So moved. Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes. Being 6:30, we now can move, and I hereby order that the meeting for the regular meeting of Tuesday, April 16th, be open. With the Hempstead Board of Trustees, our first order of business. Madam Clerk, you take the attendance.
So we'll leave. That's fine too.
Okay, so we're gonna now open up the regular meeting for our fire chiefs.
We're on two different, close the other meeting, we've opened the regular meeting, and now we're going to the fire chief.
This will take 2 seconds. You want to-
Yeah, I
it'll
figured
take 2
it takes 2
seconds.
seconds for the regular meeting because it was a public
Trustee
hearing.
Johnson? Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Now we need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Now we're gonna have our fire chiefs come forward. Fire Chief Giordino to come and give you a report. A presentation summary report of 2019, 2020 firematic activities by the outgoing fire chief. A copy of the fire chief Stephen P. Giordino report will be presented to the board on this evening. Summary of the report by the outgoing fire chief will be kept on file in the office of the village clerk. and may be reviewed by the public during regular office hours. Fire Chief for Mayor Don Ryan and the Board of Trustees will swear in the 2019-2020 official year. I'm going to ask the Mayor and the Board of Trustees to all come down and swear in our new fire chiefs.
You get the reported report.
Good evening, Mayor Ryan, trustees, fellow firefighters, family, friends, and village residents. Tonight, as I conclude my years as Chief of the Hempstead Volunteer Fire Department, I am proud to present the annual report from April 17, 2018 through April 16, 2019. During this period, the Hempstead Volunteer Fire Department responded to a total of 1,699 alarms. The total breaks down to the following: general alarms, 1,034, still alarms, 412, rescue calls, 208, mutual aid alarms, 45, of which 28 were working fires. The estimated fire loss for the period was approximately $2.6 million. Fortunately, the department did not experience any line of duty deaths and only minor injuries. There was one civilian casualty. Our Fire Prevention Bureau, under the direction of Chief Inspector Anthony Cousins, performed 150 safety presentations to over 3,000 village residents at village schools, firehouses, civic meetings, and senior centers. To all the members of the Fire Prevention Bureau, I would like to congratulate you on a job well done this past year. Let me begin by saying what an honor and privilege it has been to serve as Chief of the Hempstead Volunteer Fire Department. It began with the chiefs I had the privilege to serve under, ex-chiefs Roger Falk, Charles Hendry, and Fred Sanders. These chiefs saw how effective a chief's office with unified goals could perform. I know these ideas will continue with my assistant chiefs, Scott Clark, Kyle Bowles, Chad Mott, and newly elected third assistant chief, Fred Sanders. I cannot express how grateful I am for these men, for their abilities, and their friendship every day of my term. Thank you, chiefs. I would like to thank my company, Eagle Engine Company No. 1, for their support throughout my 4 years. I couldn't have done it without you. I especially want to thank the senior members of Eagle Engine Company No. 1. Without your guidance, I wouldn't have been a successful chief. So thank you, Honorary Chiefs Joe Simone, Danny Simone, and Anthony Simone. Also, ex-chiefs J.R. Cottrell, Roger Falk, and Tom Talenda. I want to extend a special thank you to ex-chief James Russo, who made me realize my desire to be chief of this great department. Although he is no longer with us, his legacy lives on through his American Firehouse, where he was a devoted member of Eagle Engine Company 1. I would like to thank previous Chief of Police Mike McGowan, as well as current Chief of Police Paul Johnson, and the entire police department for their assistance every day and for keeping an excellent relationship between our departments. I want to thank Lael Von Elm and his entire staff of the Fire Alarm Department. They perform a job that is second to none when it comes to dispatching our alarms and for keeping all alarm information required by the state. I also want to thank Frank Geminero, Phil Abendondolo, and the entire DPW staff, also to Joe Simone, Pete Occhipenti, and the entire staff of the building department. Thank you for always being of assistance whenever our department was in need. To the accounting department staff, thank you for assisting us on a daily basis and helping us accomplish the many projects that improved our department. Mayor Ryan, Deputy Mayor Renfro, Trustees Johnson, Daniels, and Hobbs, thank you for the professional relationship that I believe has become friendship. Thank you for your support and all you have done for us. Your support in the future is going to be needed more than ever to continue to improve our service, equipment, structures, and helping us remain current with all regulations and industry standards. I want to give a special thank you to my family, to my parents for always supporting me and pushing me to do my best, to my brothers, sister, nieces, and nephews. Thank you for always being there when I need to be reminded to enjoy my family. I want to thank my brother Dan for his service as Secretary of the Department during my tenure as Chief. I'd also like to thank my brother Chris, who's the PBA President, and he always helped me when I never needed it. I'd especially like to thank my girlfriend Kim for always putting up with me. Whether it was missing a dinner or a family function because of the fire department, you never objected. I appreciate your support you gave me, and I'm grateful to have you by my side. In my 4 years at the Chief's office, I have realized one great element. A Chief's office is nothing without his membership. How do I begin to thank all those that served this department in the past year? Officers, committee chairmen, and general membership, I thank you. It has been an honor to serve you, and it is with the greatest pride to be able to call myself the Chief of the Hempstead Volunteer Fire Department. Respectfully submitted, Stephen P. Giardino, Chief of the Hempstead Volunteer Fire Department, 2018-2019.
5G, Stephen P. Giordano. How are you, sir? We want to congratulate you on your years of service. You did a phenomenal job. I want to thank all of the members of the Hempstead Volunteer Fire Department for what you do for this community in terms of saving lives and property. You are a blessing. So I thank you all. I know the other trustees join with me, but if they'd like a moment for Mike, this would be the time.
To Chief. Can you hear me now? To Chief Giordano and his staff, and to the entire fire department, we thank you guys for all that you do, putting your life on the line for the residents of this village. Thank you very much. Good luck, and God bless all of you.
Thank you. Now the swearing in of the new slate for the coming year.
And that will be Fire Chief of the Department, Scott C. Clark, First Assistant Chief Kyle J. Bowles, Second Assistant Chief Chad S. Mott, Third Assistant Chief Frederick B. Sanders Jr.
The Assistant Chief, Trustee Whalen Hobbs, a proud member of the Hempstead Fire Department, is going to swear in the 3 Assistant Chiefs. He's a member of Truck 1. Do we have any Truck 1 people here? All right, all right. Do we have a Truck 1? Do we have a Truck 1?
Is there Truck 1?
Oh, you want for that money tonight? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, yes.
We got that.
Before I swear in the assistant chiefs, I want to say, as a member of the Hempstead Fire Department, we are grateful to the service for the services, not only our chiefs but the entire fire department. And sometimes there is confusion when it comes to our community about the sacrifices that we make every single day. But I want you to know, as a member of the fire department and as a trustee, I'm here to support our department. Will you raise your hand and repeat after me? I state your name. Do solemnly swear. To uphold. The Constitution. Of the United States. And the Constitution. Of the State of New York. And to faithfully discharge. The duties as I was elected. State your position.
First Assistant Chief.
Of the Hempstead Volunteer Fire Department. To the best of my ability. Congratulations, you are duly sworn.
Sign the bottom right, bottom right.
Do it right. Chief Clark, for the 3rd time, would you come down? Now, Trustee Hobbs is a member of Truck 1. I was a member of Engine 5. I don't know if we have any Engine 5 people here, but I'll tell you, I joined the fire department in 1964. It's been a while. I didn't stay with them the entire time for reasons to do with my business and volunteer work, but they say there is no such thing as a volunteer fireman who has retired. So I still feel part of the crew, and I'm proud to say that. If you kindly raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Scott Clark,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the bylaws of the Volunteer Fire Department of the Village of Hempstead,
and the bylaws of the Volunteer Fire Department of the Village of Hempstead,
and to serve the office
and to serve the office
to which I've been elected
to which I've been elected
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
With the power vested in me in the State of New York, I declare you duly sworn. Congratulations.
I'll give you a copy.
For the time. It's a charm. I'll be gentle.
Don't hit me too hard, man. I knew you were gonna call me.
No, we just did it. We didn't do it. No, that goes after. So start.
There are no questions about docketed items. We have the open mic at the end for all questions. And
You said no questions?
none were submitted.
Excuse me? I have a question.
Is this a question about a docketed item?
Yeah. Regarding, special counsel? I just have a question.
Okay, Ms. Nelson, go ahead.
Why is it necessary to have Be Ready and also Harris Beach as a special counsel? Number one. Number two, Harris Beach is a conflict of interest because aren't they involved in a lawsuit that's pending in court? It's on page 2, the bottom, and page 3, the top.
I'm not sure we have the same numbers that you have. What are you referencing?
No, I said page 2 at the bottom.
She has the item sheet, she don't have the same.
Yes, you don't have the same sheets we have, so what is it you're referencing?
I just explained it to you. I said, you have Be Ready as special counsel to the village of Hempstead, and also Harris Beach as special counsel to the village of Hempstead. I said, why is it necessary to have two? And the second question is, Harris Beach, isn't that a conflict of interest, considering that they're party to a lawsuit that's pending in court?
I think that would be part of the question. As far as why is this, there's resolutions for 2 firms to be special counsel to the village, it's so that the authorized, we have a list of firms to give the village attorney's office flexibility as to which firm to assign cases to.
Why do you think you still ain't answering the question? Why do you need 2? And how much are you paying them?
Well, the agreement, well, that would be subject to a retainer agreement, so that would be outlined in the retainer agreement as far as how much to pay them. But as far as 2 is, again, we were saying that we like to have a list of firms, more than one option as to who to assign cases to give us flexibility in the village attorney's
Well,
office.
you didn't have that in the past, so why all of a sudden you want to have Harris Beach on board? And like I said, that should be a conflict of interest because.
Well, to your point, if there, in event, let's say there was, Harris Beach did have a conflict on one particular matter, Then if we still have Be Ready special counsel, we can give that representation of village matter to Be Ready in that circumstance, and vice versa. If Be Ready had a conflict of interest, we can't assign a case, that particular case to them, but we can assign it to Harris Speech.
Yeah, but like I said, you didn't have issues before this?
Whether we had issues before that, no, but again, this is forecasting in the event that there is an issue in the future. It gives us the flexibility.
Nothing's changed in the village, all right? You're still not answering my question, you're dancing around it, all right? I still don't understand why you made two.
You have to step in now, I think that's the answer to the question.
Okay, no, the answer is excellent. We have two firms. We have some flexibility in who we want to select. It'll be based on our village attorney. And going forward, it gives us the opportunity to make sure there are no conflicts and that we have the right firm for the right case.
I still don't understand why it makes any sense,
Thank you.
all right? And if you're trying to save money, you know, it's a good waste of it.
So you should start how the way they will get rid of it.
Let's move forward.
Number 3, public hearing to approve that the public hearing to be held on Tuesday, May 7th at 6:15 p.m. to consider entering into an agreement with the Village of Hempstead Fire Department to provide protection and emergency services for the incorporated Village of Hempstead.
Move. Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Samantha Fountain, Deputy Clerk, the Board of Trustees hereby waives the reading of the minutes of the annual meeting, April 1st, 2019, regular meeting on April 2nd, 2019, special meeting on April 5th, 2019, and public hearing on Monday, April 8th, 2019, and accept them as reviewed.
Move.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Report of the village justice, month, March 2019. Total number of cases before the court, 2,063. Total money submitted to the village controller, $203,522. Copy of this report is on file in the village clerk's office during regular business hours. Clerk wishes to report that Mayor Ryan and Deputy Mayor Renfro have approved the miscellaneous business licenses as reviewed.
Move.
No, that's not, no, we don't do that, I'm sorry. Item number 7, resolve that upon the recommendation of Sharice Vanderhold, village attorney, the board of trustees hereby authorizes the village of Hempstead to enter into an agreement with the village regarding city having its place of business at 351 Stewart Avenue, Garden City, New York, to fuel 92 police department and fire department unleaded passenger vehicles at the gasoline pumps of Garden City while our pump station is redone.
Move. Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Mayor Ryan to approve the public hearing to be held on Tuesday, March the 5th, to consider amending chapter 95.
We'll close that.
Oh, you pulled-
That was been.
Sorry, number 8 is being pulled,
You received all copies.
7A is that to be read. And number 8, we're pulling,
Yes.
chapter 95, okay. Number 9 is being pulled, the parking license agreement for 250 Fulton Avenue.
That's good, go ahead.
Does the board wish to, number 10, does the board wish to authorize the village to enter into an agreement, parking license agreement with the National Public Law Services, 1 Helen Keller Place, Hempstead, New York, for the use of 40 assigned parking spaces in parking field 1 within the village of Hempstead, commencing January 1, 2019, and shall expire December 31st, 2021.
Move.
Second.
Just for the public knowledge, 40 spaces are $4. It's a total of $41,600 per year. There are 260 days involved in that assignment.
Has the same thing been added to this?
Correct. Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
The wording will change by our village attorney. Resolved that upon the recommendation of Mayor Ryan, that the appointment of Samantha Fountain as the deputy village clerk for the incorporated village of Hempstead be the official year commencing April 1st, 2019 to April 5th, 2021.
Move. Second.
Question. Did we do this at the last meeting?
Well,
It was 1 year.
it was a one-year term, and in state law, it does put a term up to 2 years, so we're exercising what's called
Doing it again.
the resolution would exercise the authority to, for a 2-year term as opposed to a 1-year term.
Thank you.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Mayor Ryan, that the appointment of Stacy Hawkins as assessor for the incorporated village of Hempstead for the official year commencing April 1, 2019 to April 6, 2020.
Move. Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Jackie Schmidt, deputy village attorney, that the appointment of Jennifer Martin as the being special prosecutor at a rate of $40 per hour for the incorporated village of Hempstead to commence April, commencing today, to April 6 of 2020.
Move. Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
The appointment of B. Ready and Fishbein, Hatter and Donovan LLP as special counsel to the village of Hempstead pursuant to the retainer agreements, copies of which are on file with the village clerk for general municipal advice, election law, and litigation when needed.
Move. Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
No.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
The appointment of the firm Harris Beach, PLLC, as special counsel to the village of Hempstead pursuant to retainer agreements, copies of which are on file with the village clerk for general municipal advice and litigation when needed.
Move.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
No.
Number 16, moved by authorizing that the appointment of annual salary changes for certain full-time and part-time employees of the incorporated village of Hempstead as reviewed. Timothy Sanford, 99 James A. Garnaway, new hire, Department DPW sanitation, labor part-time $14.91 an hour, upon civil service approval.
Move. Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Clerk orders the following resolution for adoption, authorizing the appointment of and or salary changes for certain full-time and part-time employees of the incorporated village of Hempstead as reviewed. Joe Quinn, Centeno, 99 James A. Barnaway, Hempstead, New York, title and salary change, department, paint and sign shop, labor supervisor, grade 117, 6, new, salary $69,376 upon civil service approvals.
Move.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Lisa Madison, Director of Human Resources, that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the appointment of position within the incorporated village of Hempstead. Pete Miller, 99 James A. Conaway, Hempstead, New York, title and grade change, department, fire alarm, title firehouse maintainer, grade 109, 1, new, salary $55,830 upon civil service approval.
Move.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Clerk orders the following resolution for adoption, that the appointment of Joseph M. Gill as village treasurer for the incorporated village of Hempstead for the period commencing May 6, 2019 through April 4, 2021, and that the compensation for the performance of duties and execution to be paid the said attorney be, and the same is hereby fixed at $152,000 per year.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes, just like to pause a second to thank Grace Lawrence for the great job that she's done. She will remain a part of the village family. She's an excellent addition to our family. So congratulations.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Bijan Karahani Engineering Department, be authorized for a proposal to be given to Lucici Engineering PC at 268 North Broadway, Hicksville, New York, 01801, to perform professional engineering services for the preparation of bid documents to repair concrete defects of Quick Avenue in the village of Hempstead.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes,
Addendum 1, the appointment of a firm, Palmieri, Castiglio, and Associates PC as special counsel for the village of Hempstead pursuant to the retainer agreements, copies of which are on file with the village clerk for litigation when needed.
Move.
second,
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
No.
Trustee Daniels?
No.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
yes,
Motion passed. Resolved that upon the recommendation of Grace Lawrence, acting village treasurer, all meetings was ordered by the board of trustees on check warrant dated April 16, 2019, approved as previously reviewed.
Move. Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
yes. That concludes the business portion.
Correct. We have a trustee that wishes to go into executive session.
I'll say that trustee makes the
Mayor.
You want to do it?
Do you want to do it at the end of the portion, or do you want to do it now?
Let me see.
There's definitely, I don't think there'll be anything to vote.
No, let's hold on that and go over this. We're not gonna be voting. The executive session will take a while, since everybody's sitting here. Let's cover the open part. Does that sound okay to everybody? So as a courtesy, let's do that. Shirley Brazley, if you could come to the mic.
Yeah. So you got
Okay, so Mayor, it looks like there may be a vote after executive session.
Then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm told it's possible at the end of the executive session, when we come back out, we may have to cast a vote. We'll still do that last, but if you stay in the open, we have to do it in open, so we'll come back out. If necessary, we'll cast a vote at that time. Ms. President, thank you.
Good evening, trustees, mayor, and village. First, I'd like to thank the fire department for the great job that they did, especially, I think, Antonio for the footage from that Lineage Street fire, which was horrific. And we do know the sacrifice that is made when they enter a fire. So I don't want my question to be misunderstood. I do have some questions. Can you help, what is the protocol for responding to a fire in the village of Hempstead?
I have to tell you from the 1960s, when we had somebody here, believe it or not, in the 60s, we had fire boxes. Everybody had a radio at home. We had a little book. And you listen to the call, it would be like 4216, you look it up in corner of Oxford and South Franklin, and you would respond. First to your company, you make a truck, and then to the scene of the fire. But every hour on the hour, that radio came on. Now 2 a.m. KBW 814, this is the radio check. And then eventually would come on and say fire, and then quickly thereafter, if necessary, a working fire. That's when I used to respond. So that was the old days. Give them the new days.
Sure. So when fire alarm dispatches a call, alarm, it goes off on the pager, and we also get a text message. If you are a chauffeur, you go to the firehouse to get the fire truck. Most of our members have gear in their car, so they go directly to the scene. So we don't wait until our members come to the firehouse to pull the truck out. The first chauffeur that goes to the scene, and the members are already at scene gearing up.
So that particular fire on Linden, West Hempstead was the first respondent there. So why was a West Hempstead
No.
truck there first?
No, Hempstead responded first. West Hempstead didn't respond to our fire first. So when we get dispatched, again, chauffeurs go straight to the firehouse, they get the trucks, go to the scene, members go directly to the scene. There were members already at the scene. The chiefs were already at the scene. What happened is we have one of our trucks that we just worked to make sure that it's back in service, that was out of service, and it's a tower ladder truck. We have truck one, that's my company, which is a tower ladder. We have, we call it ladder two, that's a ladder. So the tower.
Before you go on, one truck is, both of those have water capacity?
Yeah, both. We have, they have to hook a hose up to it. We don't carry water, but an engine can supply water to us. But the main purpose of a tower ladder is when you have an apartment fire or a high-rise structure fire, that we can get the bucket up, and if we have to perform rescues and ventilation of the roof and stuff like that. So that's the purpose. The engines and the pumpers are the one that carry the water.
So,
And so because that truck was out of service, when they got the call of working fire, the chiefs immediately got on the radio and requested West Hempstead mutual aid, because we have a mutual aid policy. When there's a working fire, not only does Hempstead respond, but different departments from surrounding areas respond. So that's what happened. That's why you see West Hempstead, because the chief knew the truck was out of service. So when he knew it was working fire, he immediately called for West Hempstead.
so to help with the people who live in this community, and so that we don't have to hear these rumors or get these calls that this is what's happening, that's why the fire department needs to be here when they're supposed to be here to give their reports. Because then it would be helpful for me to sit here and hear the report and then be able to ask my questions to somebody that is with the fire department. I don't think it's unreasonable, Mr. Mayor, for you and the trustees to ask all departments to be here, to ask the community, to answer the community's questions.
And to answer that, moving forward, I can't speak the past, there will be a chief here at the meetings, okay?
Third meeting, correct?
Right, the third meeting.
Second-
Not
second-
second, not
Third.
the first when department heads get their
Third
report.
Tuesday.
Whenever, they just
Okay,
need
but
to be here.
they'll be
It's
here.
very, to me, it's disrespectful to the community.
They'll be here.
All right, thank you.
Just mention one thing as a footnote to that fire. The victims of that fire were handled beautifully by many agencies, and nobody did more than Anita Harwood of the Village of Hempstead. So I want to shout out to that as well, because it's certainly a difficult time when you lose everything. No lives were lost. The only injury was to a fireman, and it was minor, am I correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Catherine Garrett? We had interrupted Ms. Gracely during her presentation to answer questions instead of giving her the 3 minutes straight through. The 3-minute limit is in place.
Good evening. I first wanted to know if the newly hired treasurer, Mr. Gill, lives in Hempstead?
It does not.
Was there no resolution to bypass the rule that people are to be residents?
Yeah, that'll be done.
Okay. Basically, as you recall, last night I raised several issues regarding the various fund balances. And I handed out this document, which I'm sure you have taken a look at. And I was concerned about several things.
regarding this document. First of all, I wonder if the board is aware that there is a $45 million debt that the village is carrying. And secondly, is the village officials, are the village officials aware that $4 to $5 million each year is taken out of the taxpayers' money to pay off this loan? I also had a question about the fund balances, and I wanted to know what document shows the fund balances. As you recall from yesterday, and as shown in this document, when the budget is proposed, it indicates that a certain amount of money is going to be taken out of 3 different funds or reserve funds. And then, as the years go by, it's reported in subsequent budget documents that no funds were taken out of those particular fund balances. And Mr. Daniels gave what he considered an answer to that, but basically stated that there was some accounting procedure that I didn't understand. And as I thought about it, I really felt that his answer was inadequate, and so I'm asking again, why is it that 0 is put into the budgets on the each year when it shows the actual amount that's charged to these particular funds? Why is that?
Ms. Lars, would you be kind enough?
The accounts that you see on the budget for the proposed budget are budgetary accounts. The fund balance is maintained on the balance sheet. That is not reported in the budget book. What's reported in the budget book for the actuals are the actual revenues and the actual expenditures. The difference is what's either added to fund balance or taken away from fund balance. So if the expenses were more than the revenues, then the funds were reduced in the fund balance. If the revenues were more than the expenses, then the fund balance was increased.
Right, but why is that number?
Because it's
not
just a
included?
budgetary item. It's just a budgetary code. And this is statewide. This is not something that the village made up. If you go to the OSC website, you will see these are budgetary codes.
Well, I'm sure they're budgetary codes, I understand that. However, when you have a column that you add up to say how much funds was spent in certain categories, and every category is listed for the years where you have the actual amounts for how much was spent in every single category. When you get down to these reserve funds, it lists 0 every year.
Ms. Garrett,
And-
we had invited you if you'd like to come in to have a longer discussion on it, but right now we'd like to pass the mic to other people in the audience, if you don't mind. You've had your 3 minutes. Thank you.
Well, you're not answering the question. I mean,
You're invited
And
to
I would like to just ask one other question. What document?
Ms. Garrett, please, it's not fair to the other residents,
you
that you
know-
have different rules than they have. Arlington Plowman, please, if you would come forward. Thank you.
Yeah, why don't you arrest me?
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, members of the village. I'm here, I've been here multiple times, you probably know my face.
Yes, sir.
Been here coming here since 1980. But we seem to have the same recurring problem, because I live at 43 Wellington Street. It's a one-way street. When I first moved here at 7:30 at night, it used to be quiet. Now we got 6 places to eat, 1 gas station, liquor store, a hairdressing salon, one bar, another bowling alley, a pool hall, and we have all of these spaces within an area of 500 feet on both sides of Wellington Street. The problem, one of the problems is this, is that we just had petition signed and we had some of the signs changed. Actually, what it was, from 6 to 8 in the morning, you had cars could have parked on both sides, okay, which were going to the delis and stuff around the corner from Wellington Street on the Clinton Street. So we drew up a petition and had it, now we have changed the signs. Instead of having out from 6 to 8 in the morning, both sides have traffic, and then from 8 to 6 was alternate side parking. We had it done alternate side parking from 6 to 6 on one side of the street, hoping that we alleviate the problem of all the cars parking. One of the problems we have is that these cars come to park on both sides and they leave their engines running idling. Okay, it's not like we have like a lot of land in front of the houses. It's like this is the street here, these are the houses here. They keep these sometimes a half an hour, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. They leave it idling, they go get their breakfast, they come back, they eat whatever they want to eat. It's a health hazard. You open your windows, you have to close your windows. The fumes are coming into people's houses. There's a young man right across the street from me, he has 3 kids, and all of them are under a year and a half. And this is what happens on the block. Now, they start at 6, around 6 o'clock in the morning, from 6 to 7:30, quarter to 8. This is one of the worst times that we have. Another problem, a problem is the trucks. We had this on the petition, we requested, there was a sign that says no trucks on the block, because what had happened, in the morning time also, during the daytime, you would have all the landscaping trucks come on this, because it's one-way street, and they'll sit down and they'll eat and then throw the stuff on the ground. And even when you try to get out your driveway, it's a problem. So we said no trucks allowed. We had the sign put up, but what had happened, we wasn't getting the police department to respond like they should. So we continue getting the trucks. We continue getting the trucks. Now we had a meeting. I went to one of the meetings the last time, and they changed it where it says no trucks again, but below the no truck sign, it says except local deliveries. Now I'll show you some pictures I just took out.
All the trucks parking.
Now, what they're doing, I called up the precinct and I spoke to them, and they said that with the no parking sign, I'll just show you, these are some of the pictures here. But I just took out the day before yesterday.
We're talking the west side of Wellington Street, the one.
Yeah, on the one-way side.
It's a displace.
Another problem, it's always an argument. They block your driveway, you told them you want to get out, so guess what? I'm in the street. It's this attitude. So we have to fight all the time. I feel like I'm a victim. These are residents on that block. That's how we feel. We feel like victims. What it is the scene that the law has changed to benefit the store owners and not the homeowners.
Let me ask you, you said about the signs.
Right.
You went to traffic and safety board.
Right.
Right now, are the signage okay the way it is now?
We changed, one part of it is okay now, because we got, instead of 6 to 8 parking on both sides and then alternate parking from 6 to 6 on either side, we have now alternate side parking on one side from 6 to 6 in the morning. We cut out that 6 to 8.
The change that you are requesting, please put it in writing and make sure the traffic and safety board does.
We got that changed, but what it is, we need the police department to enforce it in the morning time.
Officer, note the west side of Wellington Street.
The problem that they have, they say I call too much. You know, I'm sure you're familiar with my face. Every time I come here, they says, call the police department. When we call the police department, say we're calling too much. So the problem is this now,
There is no such thing as calling it too much.
Right.
We'll address
The
that.
local
Yeah.
delivery sign has
Yeah,
to
the-
go off.
I will put an incident book that we have beyond the desk, and I'll tell you.
the local delivery, the no truck sign, now they put a local delivery sign at the bottom of the sign. Now the trucks feel that they have
The light.
the right to come and park, which I've been fighting for
I'll
many
have to
years.
talk to Lieutenant K regarding that. I appreciate it.
Well, I spoke to him about it also, but he says that that's the way it gotta be.
Okay.
So I live here, so I'm gonna keep fighting for it until I get something in
Good
being
for
done.
you. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Alrighty? As a matter of fact, I got a letter from Councilwoman Gosby, what I should do is give you a copy, I make you a copy and drop it off?
Oh, you can, but she'll mail it to me.
Huh?
She sends me the copy.
She sent you a copy? Okay, so at least you're familiar with the problem. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Appreciate everything that you can do first. Thanks a lot, and everybody have a good evening.
Good.
Thank you.
Good night.
Councilman Benjamin?
Oh. All right.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Trustee Johnson, Trustee Hobbs, Trustee Daniel, Deputy Mayor Winfrey, and Mayor Ryan. First, let me say to you, Mayor, thank you so much for that personal issue that you took on to help me out with my son. I certainly appreciate that, and hopefully we'll be able to resolve that issue. My concern is, has to do with jobs for the local community. If you're not aware, I know that several organizations have gotten tremendous amount of funds to help people in terms of job readiness, job training, and all of that. The problem that I have is my little location is being inundated with all of these young people and people in need of jobs. I don't have the resources to deal with that. I'm not trying to put down on any other organization, but I think that the village, the Board of Trustees should hold people that you're giving funding accountable to make sure that they are helping to train those people. I cannot train them, all of them. I'm thankful for the help that we got from the CDA in terms of the people for the OSHA 30. All of those people, every single one of them, except for 3, are working right now. We have some people that are already working on the Dell bus company already. I in fact invited all you guys to come because you can see the people in the community are actually working on those sites, and those potential contractors are calling me in advance to ask me for people to place on those sites, which is new to me. But some of the individuals we have are untrained. Obviously I don't have grants and all of those different kinds of things. What can we do to properly train some of these individuals so they can take advantage of those jobs? And I obviously need help in that matter because, Mr. Winfrey, you're the head deacon in the church. You know how often they come to our doors. We cannot accommodate all of these people without help. I'm asking the village of Hempstead, the Board of Trustees, to try to help us to get proper training to these young individuals. Now, I got 18, 19-year-old people coming to me who obviously need training. I am aware of the electrical apprenticeship program. I've been sending people there. Wherever I can find a job for these individuals, I am. But we need help. We need help in order to get these young men off the streets. The summer's coming, and we need help, and I need help in terms of helping people in the village of Hempstead, those people that are not on the upper echelon of society, the ones that tend to be overlooked. So I'm here pleading for help to be able to help village residents find employment. Again, the Dell Bus construction site is doing a marvelous job in reaching out, and we are placing people there, so they are doing their part. The problem we have is the agencies tend to send people to me. I don't have funding for that. They need to take care of their own responsibility. I will take anybody and everybody that need help, but they need to be held accountable. If you guys are giving them all these funding to do this work, I shouldn't have to do it. So that's my complaint. The other thing is, we have in our annual Mother's Day event, we already have 250 mothers signed up. These are mothers that are coming out of transitional housing programs, domestic violence situation. They are very cast down and discouraged. I would love to see the people, the trustees, the Board of Trustees coming out to just encourage them. On that note, I will give you the flyer. Please, if you can come out just to say a word to encourage these mothers, I would greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for that event. Ricky Lucas?
Yes, good evening, Mayor and trustees again. I'd like to know, we don't have any chief here tonight, there's some professional reason why he's not here?
Fire chief?
Yeah, no, police chief.
Oh, the police chief. I'm not aware of the reason for it.
Okay.
Officer Murphy?
I do not know.
Okay, so Officer Mercy, you were on the update of what's going on in the last month, you were the update?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the shot spotter, how many times have they went off in the last 2 months?
In the last 2 weeks, there's been 16 alerts.
16 alerts.
Yes.
14
14 were unfounded, two were founded.
14 unfounded?
Yes, sir.
So you mean that you guys went to investigate and you didn't find any casings or any victims of property damage?
Correct.
Okay, on the issue of gang violence, is that on the rise or that's still on the low?
Right now, gang violence is obviously an issue. We are working with the Nassau County Police, our investigations unit. At nighttime, we're also putting out extra officers just to try to combat that issue.
Okay, now, we're also supposed to be having other officers coming from other departments in the high crime areas. Are they here now? Are they going to be here or what?
We are working on Nassau County, especially at nighttime, like middle afternoon to later at night. We come in, work together. The last 2 weeks, we've also recovered 3 handguns.
Okay, but we do have these extra police officers
Absolutely.
on the job
Yes,
7 days a week?
working hand in hand.
Okay. On the one that was fatal, do we have any more information on those that the individuals that
Right now,
got shot?
right now, that's still being investigated.
Okay.
Nassau County Homicide and Hempstead Investigation Unit.
What about the young man that got stabbed over there on Franklin?
It's still an ongoing investigation.
Okay, we assume that it came from one spot to another, like from the park to,
There was an arrest made for the Broward Park incident.
it was arrested?
I'm sorry, yes.
Thank you, trustee. That's it. Thank you.
Sir. Reverend Linwood E. Dees.
That's me.
Mr. Mayor, trustees Johnson, Hobbs, and to Daniels, trustee Daniels and Deputy Mayor Renfro. This is my first visit here, and I'm going to try to do this in the 3 minutes allotted to me. There are several issues that I want to hopefully be able to get some assistance and help with as it relates to Surrey Lane. On Surrey Lane, we're having a serious issue with that gas station on the corner. It's a very narrow street, and the gas station owner persists in parking there early in the morning, almost from the columns back to the first driveway, and leave those cars there from early in the morning until about 10 o'clock at night. We're going in and out, trying to get in, and it becomes a hazard and a difficulty at times getting in and out of this block. One incident that we had left us residents 20 minutes to almost a half hour with a truck making a delivery, and those cars parked there, and we had to sit and wait for someone to come and move those cars. And that gas station continues to be a problem because they have 2 entrances on the Hempstead Turnpike side, and then they have the third one that leads out to the corner of Surrey Lane. And I think sooner or later we're going to have a serious accident there because we can't see the cars coming when we're coming out, and they can't see us. And there's a driveway there that needs to be taken away at this point. And that's one of the issues, and we've tried to get some help with this. As I know I've had to try to get some help. Maybe I didn't go to the right department to get the adequate information and help that I need, but I'm here requesting it tonight so that we can get this taken care of once and for all. There needs to be a no parking sign at any time from those white pillars all the way back to the first driveway. And that would alleviate the problem that we're having, trying to get in and out all through the day. It's a persisting problem, and I'm just asking, can we get some help to get this taken care of? The second part of that is what they do is they test drive those cars up and down Surrey Lane. When they're fixing the cars, they test drive it, and they drive rather fast. Also, I've had an incident where I had to really step out and stop one of the young men, because at this point, we have a lot of children on our block going to and fro, and playing out in the street, and we're afraid something's going to happen to one of our children, and that needs to be looked into. Second item is the second and the fourth house. Every morning now, if you go down Surrey Lane, you'll see a lot of these vans parked, these working vans parked, where in the morning, they done turned it into Home Depot parking lot, where they're exchanging and getting their work orders and whatever they're doing. And I don't think that's, Mr. Mayor, I don't think that's right.
They park in the parking lot, I mean, on the street?
They're in the street, they're up and down the street, and it's a lot of men there getting work.
So if I could just interrupt, the Traffic and Safety Board is the place you need to go to get that signed.
Okay.
Put it in writing, Traffic and Safety Board, either Mary Burns or Lieutenant K, mail it here to Village Hall, give it to your deputy mayor, and they'll put it on the agenda, and before they do that, Lieutenant K will go down and observe what's going on, so he can give a report to the residents that are on that board will vote.
Okay, now, thank you for that. And the last thing, I know my time is up, but the last thing is, several of us, many of our residents, got these, not summons, but we got instructions.
You got notice.
Notice to comply to. We have to pay $45 to get a permit. And listen, we got a whole lot of senior citizens up there. There's a damn one of them. And to repair my sidewalk, I got an estimate. It's gonna cost me $1,200 to repair my sidewalk. And listen, you know how to pay my taxes. You want me to spend $1,200, you know? And I just think, maybe I'm being a little piggy, but I just think that's a little over the top. And then when the young fella came out there, he said, oh, well, the person that wrote him is doing us a favor. Really? I don't need those kind of favors, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much for your time.
Terry Winston.
It absolutely befuddles me that this administration appeases the village residents by suddenly adding services that should have been included in the budget already. Extending hours for the village library and renovating the armory will not change the fact that the village is in debt to the tune of $45 million. Ms. Gary attempted to inform those of us present at Monday's budget hearing about the serious issues facing us. However, her attempt was thwarted by the board's failure to satisfactorily answer her questions. Jeffrey Daniels, your response to what the village wants and needs are a day late and $1 short. Without addressing the pilot crisis and the unnecessary debt the village finds itself in, the community will never have the opportunity to enjoy those services you propose. Everyone sitting on the present board has had ample opportunity to make drastic changes for the better. Ill-deserved pilots are still the norm, and this is in spite of the illegality of apartment house pilots. This administration and prior administrations have chosen to turn a blind eye to the desperate situation the village is in, and have thereby contributed to the fiscally irresponsible crisis the village now finds itself in. Yesterday, Jeffrey Daniels, you asked me why didn't I run. All right? My response to that is that, I'm stuck on the truth. I can't lie. And that's why I don't run. And second of all, I have to get past the Democrats and the Republicans. They have to want you. They have to support you. And they're not gonna support me because I would intend to do the right thing for all the community that's here. So that's the answer to your question. That's why I don't run, because I'm not a liar.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved. Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
We're going into executive session to discuss a personnel matter.
Now, there's a motion to be made. This is what you got.
Motion is on the matter that was discussed in executive session.
So
Personnel matter. Personnel matter.
Personnel matter.
Will you repeat that? I'm sorry.
There will be a motion.
Personnel.
The motion is to vote on the personnel matter that was discussed in executive session.
So move.
Second.
What are we saying?
Yeah, you have to say it.
But you have to,
Tell me what it
If
is.
we're voting on the matter that was discussed in executive session, that's all.
Right. Yeah. Voting on the personnel matter that was discussed in executive
thank
session.
you, Madam Attorney, can agree with you. Let's do it. I made the motion. We have a second.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
No.
Mayor Ryan?
No.
Motion passed.
Right.
Now,
Now I'm going to do the motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Hobbs?
Yes.
Trustee Daniels?
Yes.
Trustee Renfro?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Oh, wait a minute, I take